What is up, everybody? It's Revv time. Today we're talking about influences. Well, I'm talking about influences because Weir is not here. It's just me. So I'm talking about influences. And one of the big influences for me on guitar is Mr. Michael Landau. And what we were just listening to is a record called Tales from the Bulge. Ta-da! And the cut that you were listening to is called I'm Buzzed. Now, this is from way back in the 90s. Actually, I think it was 1990 that this record was released. It's one of his Michael's many solo records that are just incredible. These tones and everything are a little bit more, they would possibly be perceived as dated by some. To me, they're still amazing tones. Now, you know, Michael's played on everything you can imagine. If you want to figure out what he's played on as a session musician, just, you know, look up all music and you'll find tons and tons of stuff that he's played on. And I loved all that, but for me, I always kind of gravitated to how he plays when he wants to play, you know, when he's playing what he wants to play as opposed to what was on the session. And, you know, this is one of the records. Of course, there's all the Raging Honky stuff, of course, the Burning Water stuff, the Liquid Quartet. All that stuff is absolutely amazing, and you can hear his tones change and morph. And the thing with Mike Landau is, to me, he just always sounds better. Always sounds better. Always sounds like he's grown and progressed as a player. He's just absolutely brilliant. So yeah, major influence on me. This song, sonically and, you know, just musically, had an influence on me. I mean, when I first just heard that. I just thought that was such a cool sounding, just opening line, just to hit right into it. That's the riff. Sounded killer. I'm not trying to match Michael's tone on this, but I'm using my Tilt Overdrive, and all the sounds that you're hearing are coming from my pedalboard. So it's Tilt Overdrive. I'm using a Big Sky for kind of a hall reverb, and my timeline, my Strymon timeline, for a bit of just digital delay, which is kind of, it's always been my start point, probably sans the reverb, but. And then I'm just backing off the volume a little bit on the guitar to kind of, you know, get into the ballpark. I'm not trying to match that tone. So let's get into, obviously that rhythm part was killer. Let me kind of bump this forward and see if we can find some soloing, because his style of soloing on this was really fluid and just awesome. So let's check that out. Okay, cool. That soloing, I mean, I was never one to really learn something note for note. I'm really lazy. That's why I haven't cut my hair or shaved, or learned anything note for note. But I always try to just latch on to tonalities. So with Michael, especially in that just the beginning of that solo, I just thought that was so cool. And then there were other elements, even the, you know, all that just slick, fluid, just beautiful melodic playing. I definitely latched on to stuff like that just, and you guys have heard me do this kind of stuff gazillions of times. The that little ornament, that's definitely Landau. And like I said, usually when you're jamming over and you're kind of playing a blues thing, there's not a lot of people to think to play that sixth interval, and that was, it was really listening to these types of solos, especially from Michael, that really, and then of course he just did it so smooth, it sounded so cool. So all that stuff really just, back in that day, like 1990, that was just a major influence, and it's definitely one of the sonic influences. I think he was using, Marshalls back then, and I've seen him with all kinds of different amps, but I think it was a Marshall thing back then. And I was never one of those guys who's like, oh, I got to get that exact setup. I would try to just get that sound in my head and just see if I could get there with what I've got in front of me. And sometimes I could and sometimes I couldn't. It just depended on what I was going for. But that's really for me, that's a big one. Later on I really got into the Burning Water stuff. That's a little harder to find online actually, but check out all the Burning Water stuff. All that stuff is killer. Look him up and check him out. It's just, for me, major influence. So anyways, I wouldn't learn, like I said, I don't learn things note for note, but the big thing I used to do and still kind of do is just jam along, so I would just let the song play once I kind of had an idea in my head of what was going on, and then just kind of expand, anyways, you get the idea. It helps with your time and phrasing, and I was just kind of noodling in search of, but that's, and I still do that now, but especially back in the early days, I just played along, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and then I would adjust, to make it so it sounded like music. So that's my video. That's the Revv Time video. And as always, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you like this type of material, please hit that like button, smash it, caress it, punch it, whatever it is you feel comfortable doing to that particular button is really between you and yourself. And also, please subscribe. It really helps get us out there in the browser thingy, search engine Wing Dinger. We'll see you guys next time.